host, everybody. Shanae, keep it going for her. Thank you, Ari's Tavern. I love this room. I haven't been here in a while, so it's really good to be back. And I'm really, really good to be back tonight because my wife and I got some unbelievable news this week, everybody. We found out that we are not pregnant with our first child. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, the streak continues. Whew. I'm 41 years old and I've never had children. So I'm still a child, essentially, is what I'm saying there. But yeah, I'm excited. We're not having kids yet, so I get to keep this crazy lifestyle that I have, can be here with you folks without having to pay for child support, or not child support, maybe child support, or babysitters, I don't know which one. But my wife still told me she does want to start a family, so I'm not off scot-free. I'm still under a lot of pressure, and it is a lot of pressure under a guy my age. Like I said, I'm 41. I don't know about any of you guys out here, but if you've ever had to maintain an erection while a thermometer and a stopwatch are involved, that's tricky. Especially when she's just watching an episode of Orange is the New Black and wearing a pair of my gray sweatpants. I'm just like, I need some motivation. She's like, no, asshole. Time is of the essence. I'm like, okay. Duty calls, everybody. He's like, is this guy up here complaining about getting laid? I don't believe that. But no, my wife and I were actually at a party the other day, and we were talking to a couple we'd never met before, and they asked us how many kids we had. We said we didn't have any. And she said, oh, you guys are dinks. I know. I was like, well, that's just racist. We're not even Chinese. I don't know why you would say that. So she said, no, silly. Dink means dual income, no kids. I was like, oh, you mean lucky. Yes, I am. And I'm kind of a bad speller, so I thought she meant dual income, no credit. And I was like, because either way you spell it, we fall into that category. She said, you do seem nervous about this. She goes, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. If you're going to start a family, just make sure you're in a decent financial situation. Just not, you have to be rich. Just make sure you're okay. And I was like, well, if you consider still owing $40,000 for a 6-year general studies degree, I know, that I got at a Playboy top 5 party college in 1998, financially stable, then let's do this. Went to give my wife a high five. She did not give it back. So that was a little awkward, I know. But no, she does want to start a family, and it's a lot of pressure, like I said. I do have this kind of like I call my saving grace in starting a family situation I'm in with my wife. My beautiful wife is of both Mexican and Native American heritage, everybody. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah. What that means for me, though, is that she wants to have a really, really big family, but she's usually way too drunk to do anything about it. I know. I get off literally and figuratively quite a bit in my house. And I don't want you guys to worry. It's not a lot of drama. Whenever we find out that we're not pregnant, she only sheds one single tear. So, I know. That's her favorite joke, if you can believe that, everybody. So I just have the makeup joke for that one is my wife, she takes care of me. She supports me in comedy. I had a show at Comedy Works. I'm a new comedian, so when you get a show there, it's like you get so excited. And I woke up with a bit of the sniffles. I was like, oh my God, I have a cold. And she handed me a packet of Emergency. Are you guys familiar with this product, Emergency? I'm a kind of a typical guy. I like to do recreational drugs. I really don't do medicinal drugs. Well, I do medicinal drugs recreationally, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into that here. But no, she gave me this packet of Emergency, and I put it in my bag, and I got to work, and I opened it up, and it was just a packet of white powder, so I just laid a rail out on my desk. I was getting ready to do it, and thankfully my assistant, she ran up, and she was like, no, asshole, you don't snort it, you drink it. I was like, oh, God, thank God. And I just scooped the Emergency into my Mountain Dew, and you guys, I've never done it before, but now I know what methamphetamines must feel like. Emergency and Mountain Dew. It was insane. 5 minutes into it, I had sores on my arm that had never been there before. I was like, well, that's kind of strange. 10 minutes into Emergency, my favorite tooth became loose. I was just like, corn on the cob! That's what we were going to have for dinner that night. I was like, well, you need your good eating teeth for that, so there goes that. And this is the worst part. Take heed, everyone. This is the worst part about it. I had this overwhelming urge, like 20 minutes after drinking this, to go to my grandmother's house and just like kick her door in and shove her to the ground and steal her VCR like they do in those awful commercials you see. And every time I get outside and I'm like, why am I doing this? VCRs aren't worth shit. I'm not going to get anything for this. A lot of you have grandparents left in this room, I see. But no, I do. I go back in. I take the VCR back. I hook it up. And now you're wondering, like, God, I hope he at least helps her off the ground. And I don't, because I bought my grandmother the Life Alert for Christmas the year before. And I was like, Nana, I'm never going to get my money's worth out of it if I keep having to help you up off the ground. She's like, that's my boy. I was like, I knew this was a test. I don't know, you guys. I'm gonna cut my time a little short because we got a lot of comedians, and I'm kind of a late addition to the show. But I will leave you with this. Everybody, I have a lot of friends that have been talking about moving out here because about recreational marijuana. They want to go to the stores, and this is what I tell them. I'm like, no, I'm pretty old school. I liked it when it was illegal, and it was like you were doing something thrilling, when you had a joint. Like every time I'd have a joint when I was in like high school, my piece of shit Honda was actually this bitchin' Camaro, and it was just like Breaking the Law by Judas Priest was just always on the radio. It was like, yes. And now it's just not as fun anymore. So I still like to support the black market, everybody. And I don't really mean the whole black market. It's just I know this black guy down off Market Street that has the greatest prices. And I was like, that cable bill is not going to pay itself. So I got to keep going down there, supporting the black market. You guys have been great. Let's keep it going for all your comedians tonight.